And welcome back to the MUT Web Series. I am Ashley Snyder with the Event Management Office, and I am back with Jessica Erickson to talk about weddings again. So we're going to take a deeper dive into some of the programming that she does and initiatives that she's created to help increase our weddings reach. So Jessica, if you want to give us a little bit of an introduction and tell us more about the process of planning a styled shoot and what goes into a styled shoot.
Yes, hello everyone. I am back again. So if you've watched our previous videos, you know that I am the wedding and event coordinator for the event management office in the Memorial Union. My position mainly, it's kind of 50-50, so 50% working with student organizations and then 50% coordinating weddings and doing some day of coordination for all of the ceremonies and receptions in the Memorial Union and then on Central Campus. So we kind of left off the last episode talking about styled shoots a little bit and kind of the marketing benefits of hosting a styled shoot. And we have in the Memorial Union hosted 2 styled shoots in the last year. So going through the planning process, I sometimes feel like it was a whirlwind a little bit, especially our first styled shoot was a huge learning opportunity for me because I'd never planned a styled shoot or an event of that size before. To put into perspective a little bit, a normal styled shoot, I think normally you'd have like 10 to 15 vendors doing 1, maybe 2 styles. Our first styled shoot, I just really dove in and decided to do 5 different styles with 30 plus vendors and models. So definitely a large undertaking. So there were a lot of lessons learned the first time we planned the first styled shoot we planned. So I think just kind of the first step was picking the styles we wanted to do. So creating mood boards and kind of having that inspiration for what we were looking for. We did work with a wedding planner who kind of helped with some of the design aspects of it, but I love design and wedding design, so I kind of got excited and it was a creative outlet for me to do a lot of those design aspects. So a lot of the things were just things that I personally liked and wanted to showcase and wanted to put together. So that was kind of step 1, was having the inspiration, getting the mood boards, and then step 2, which was huge for the Memorial Union, a building that is literally so busy with events. We normally host over 14,000 events a year, was finding a date where we had a full day of no events in our ballroom spaces so that we had time for setup, for the vendors to set up and then take the actual photos and tear down. Our first year, we only had 1 full day and it was kind of like an 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., which in your head, you think that's plenty of time. It's not. So I definitely learned my lesson. And now I try to do 2 full days just so that we have a little wiggle room for setup and tear down, because it does take time to really style each individual table and make it unique and giving your vendors ample amount of time to have their vision come to life. So that's kind of step 3, is finding the vendors. The first time we had a styled shoot, it was kind of crazy because we didn't really know any vendors super well. So we didn't know, we had florists and photographers and rental companies that we'd worked with before, but not having that personal relationship where we really collaborated on things. So it was a lot of calling people, sending emails, inviting people, just explaining the benefits of a styled shoot. We did not have anyone pay to come, and we did not pay any of the vendors to come. So it was very much just donating your time and services as a vendor to have the benefit of getting all of the photos the photographers took for free and having them for marketing materials, and then just kind of that mutual benefit of tagging all of the vendors you worked with on social media. It definitely for us, we saw a huge return in followers and just online presence too. So once you find your vendors, I think that is the biggest step. And then it's a lot of communication and just back and forth with your vendors on kind of what your expectations are and what you're looking for in terms of style. The photographers, kind of once you solidified the photographers, you're not working with them as closely throughout the process until maybe the week before the styled shoot, just letting them know like what your lighting is like, what equipment they should bring, how many models you have, things like that. But the actual design, the rental items, the tabletop decor, linens, all of those things, you're working with the vendors very closely just to make sure that they have items in stock, they have the right amount of items, and just the logistics of like delivery, pickup, timing for the day of. And I learned a lot about timing for our first styled shoot. You just always need a little more time than you think. It just takes longer to make things perfect. And then photographers, you don't want to, if they're having like a creative moment with a style, you don't want to like ruin that moment and be like, we've got to go to the next style, or I need you to do this or that. So learn a lot about timing, but I think just making sure your vendors know your expectations and that you know what your vendors' expectations are. Being very clear with communication, sending everyone parking information, how to get to the rooms, making sure you have plenty of staff there to communicate if you're going to be serving a meal or snack, if you're going to have breaks, if you have the photographers and vendors divided into like timed groups, how many models you have, and then photographers like letting them know what shots you're kind of expecting out of the shoot. So a lot of communication. And when we came around to our second styled shoot, it was amazing. We had the best time. It was honestly, we learned so much from our first go of it. And then the second time was just, it honestly blew me away how great the vendors were. It was in the middle of a blizzard and all of our vendors still showed up and were amazing to work with. And we just came together to create something really cool. So I was very proud of how our second styled shoot went in January of this year. And now that I'm talking about it, I'm getting excited to plan another one. So hopefully that will be a possibility once COVID calms down.
Yes, I'm laughing because I'm thinking about how you said that it was in the middle of a blizzard, and it seems like every wedding expo styled shoot, anything wedding related, I swear we always have a blizzard or massive downpours or something when we're trying to load things in and out of the building. So we just haven't had the best of luck, but maybe this next year it'll be better.
Let's hope.
Yes. Looking back to September 2019, the Memorial Union hosted United at the Union, which was the first wedding expo we'd had in over 8 years. So can you give us a brief explanation of the planning process for that bridal expo and why we ultimately decided to have one in our building instead of going to another one at someone else's venue?
Yes, so we do attend other bridal expos, but I am a huge believer that for venues, the best way to showcase your space is to get people in your space. So after going to a couple of other bridal expos, I just didn't feel like we could fully showcase ourselves because, as I kind of have said in the past, I think the Memorial Union is beautiful and so unique and gorgeous, and it sells itself. You just have to get people in the space to see it. So that was kind of why we chose to start hosting our own bridal expo. Again, it's been 8 years since we had last hosted, which also meant that we were pretty much starting from scratch because all of our old documents and vendors, a lot of them aren't vendors anymore. A lot of those documents were out of date. So it was kind of starting from scratch again, which we had the first styled shoot in April of 2019, which really helped us we already had a long vendor list from that experience so we kind of drew from that when we were inviting vendors to our bridal expo. I also did collaborate with Gateway Hotel and Conference Center in Ames and kind of worked with some of their staff to just help me get the wheels turning in the beginning of the bridal expo planning process. So they shared some documents with me. They shared their contract with me, their vendor contract, and kind of their timelines and things that they had done in the past to just kind of help us spark some ideas and know that we were on the right track pricing wise for vendor booths and contracts and things like that. So those are kind of the first steps. And then after that, it was really just getting vendors confirmed. It was really fun to, we learned about so many new vendors. There are so many amazing vendors in the wedding community in Iowa. And with a bridal expo, vendors will come from all over the state. So it was just very cool to have a lot of conversations with people, get to know people. And then after we kind of were starting to get some vendors confirmed, we started marketing, doing social media pushes, doing some marketing with Iowa State Daily, some Iowa State related marketing, doing some community marketing. And it was really, really fun. We had a great turnout for our first year. I was really happy with how everything went. And we still learned. We learned so much. I think we're at a point where, our next bridal expo, which was scheduled to be in September of 2020, but is being postponed for now. So hopefully a new date will be released soon. But just learned a lot about marketing and just ways to get the date known to the brides, because the brides are the number one priority. If you can't get brides to your expo, then there's no point of having an expo. So just going to be working on some new ways to get some brides there, maybe having some bridal brunches, VIP, bride tickets, and things like that. So exciting things in the works for our next bridal expo. But 2019 was a good year for MU weddings. We had a lot of fun.
Yes, and if brides do decide to book with the Memorial Union, they get to work with you as their wedding planner. Can you tell us a little bit about what that looks like and what services we provide and what they could expect from that process?
Yes, so I refer to myself as kind of a mix between a venue coordinator and a day of wedding planner coordinator. So what that means is, on the venue side of things, I am obviously in charge of all of the logistics, making sure that, setups are going correctly. All of your other vendors get to your space when they're doing deliveries and day of things, and just making sure like policies and things are being followed. But then I like to be more fun than that. So I pretty much get as involved with the couple's, plans as involved as they want me to be. So if they are, super independent and doing their own planning, or they have another planning company that's doing the planning for them, I can just work a little bit with that vendor or with them. I'm with them from the initial inquiry. So when they first inquire about the space and see the space, I am the one typically giving them the tour. And then I'm with them till the day of the wedding. So all of the interactions from start to finish is kind of dictated by the bride. If they are kind of hands off and they don't want me to be super involved, that's totally fine. I will just kind of check in here and there and make sure things are going smooth. But if I have a bride that's like, I'm overwhelmed and I want your help, then I get pretty involved. I will give them vendor recommendations. I have vendor friends that I've reached out to before and checked dates for them. Just doing a lot of the communication between different logistic items. So I don't put my name on any of their contracts or anything, but I definitely am in close contact with a lot of the vendors, especially in those few weeks before the wedding, just making sure that we all are operating on the same timeline, that they know where to park, they know what to expect, they know where to go. I have created timelines for brides before. As you get more comfortable with planning weddings and when you've been around more and more weddings, there's kind of a natural flow to things. So giving a lot of advice, helping with their tasting, just being as involved as they want me to be. And then regardless of how involved I've been in the process, I am there the day of the wedding. So I oversee the setup on the venue side. So making sure tables, chairs, staging, platforms, that all gets set up according to the custom diagram that I've made for the couple. And then also on the flip side, overseeing the decor setup. So whether it's a family, a company, whoever's doing the decor setup, I'm there as a resource to assist them, to help with questions, just being available. Brides can also hire me and my wedding special events assistant to do the decorating for them. That's a service we added this year. We do have a chair setup service for outdoor ceremonies when they bring in chairs. We've just really expanded the services that we provide. So then obviously if they've added any of those services onto their wedding package, then we are there to make sure those all go smoothly as well. So it's very much dictated by the couple. If they want me to be super involved, I am there, I'm ready, I'm excited. But if they want me to stay kind of hands off and just check in here and there, that is perfectly fine as well.
Yeah, and having you involved with a lot of those communications is really important, and that's a really big benefit of working with us at the MU. Can you tell us a little bit about what sets the Memorial Union apart from some other wedding venues?
Yes. So I personally obviously I love the Memorial Union, but I think that our packages for weddings are very inclusive and very reasonable. So we try to do all of our wedding package pricing. Well, all of our wedding pricing is mostly in packages. So when we have a indoor ceremony, that package price includes all of the tables, chairs, staging, setup, tear down of all of those items. It includes all the audio visual. It includes a person that's actually there to operate all of your AV services during the ceremony, meaning you don't need to hire a DJ or a musician to do anything for your ceremony. That's 100% taken care of by us. It includes pretty much everything that you would need for a ceremony. We have that for you in the package. For a reception, it's very similar. It includes all of your tables, chairs, setup, all of the audio, all of the microphones. It includes parking. We do 5 validated parking tickets per reception package, just so you can either give them to vendors, give them to your family that's decorating, just having that flexibility available. And then obviously you have the opportunity to work with me as a wedding coordinator, which is a huge benefit to our packages. You will not see other venues that are going to essentially be giving you a wedding planner as a part of the venue package. Obviously, I'm not a full service wedding planner. I don't go to like your other vendor meetings, but we do try to make sure that my services provide a lot of value to the package and just take a lot of stress off of the bride and the family by having me involved. Most people haven't gone through a wedding before, so there's a lot of questions and a lot of uncertainty, and that's what I'm there for, is to just be that resource, be that person that the bride can ask all their questions, maybe vent to if they're having any type of issues. So we try to be super inclusive. And then those packages include a lot, but we also have added a lot of services that brides can add on. So like I was talking about, the decorating service, because we do not allow decorating the day before, it's all day of. So you would have access to the reception space at 10 a.m. the morning of your wedding. We do have a lot of brides that are like a little stressed out about that. And so having the option to kind of hand all of the decor over to our staff to be 100% set up by us is a huge value to the services that we provide. And then kind of the same concept with doing the chair setup and doing decoration tear down. We started offering that service, which is so great. And then also, we work directly with ISU Catering. They are our exclusive caterer, and they are right on site. Their kitchen is steps away from our ballrooms. They are literally in on every meeting with us. So we are in sync 100% from the venue side to the food. We're always in communication with each other. While we are separate departments, we work so closely together that it is seamless between your venue and your food. And catering, the service they offer and provide is honestly unmatched. I've not seen another catering service that does the quality of food and then the level of service that they provide, which I think is so fun, especially for a wedding. It's your big day. Why not get pampered a little bit? Just the fact that they use all real china, they clear all of your plates, they do all of the cleanup, they provide linens and your cloth napkins as a part of their package. They are so great to work with. So really the whole package of it is just super seamless. It makes the bride's life super easy. And I think that's something that we have a step up on other venues.
Yeah, we definitely know how stressful it can be planning for the big day. So we want to take as much of that pressure off as we can and really be there on the day of to make sure all the things behind the scenes are happening when they're supposed to be happening. Lastly, do you have any advice for newly engaged couples?
Yes. So I would say that just start reaching out to vendors right away. Even if you don't have everything figured out yet, maybe you don't have your exact date nailed down or you don't have your exact guest count nailed down, just start kind of inquiring with vendors and seeing maybe what dates they have available and what their pricing and packages look like. I know if you have a vendor that you have been following and you love, just reach out to them first, maybe before setting a date, because a lot of those vendors that you love so much, they are booking fast and booking usually more than a year out. So if you have any date flexibility, I would definitely recommend reaching out to your favorite vendors first to see what their availability is before locking in a date and setting that in stone. But I think just communicating with people, you can inquire with 10 venues, and that's totally fine and normal. And as a venue, on the venue side, we totally understand that. But just communicating with venues, if you have toured a venue and you're choosing to go in another direction, there are no hard feelings ever. We totally understand, but it is so nice when brides let us know, hey, we're going to go with a different venue or we're looking at a different direction. But thank you so much for, giving us a tour or just giving us information. So that's huge. And I know all wedding vendors really appreciate just hearing from you either way. But yeah. And then lastly, I would say get a wedding planner. If your venue includes a wedding planner like the Memorial Union does, then I wouldn't say you necessarily need an outside wedding planner. But if your venue is not like the Memorial Union, does not include that service, I would strongly recommend, putting a little money aside in your budget for that. It will totally change your wedding experience, having somebody that just takes care of everything on your wedding day so you can actually be present in the moment and enjoy your family and friends and the amazing thing that's happening. It's just so special. And I hear from way too many brides that they don't even remember their wedding day because they were so stressed and they were running around like crazy. And a wedding planner can totally change that for you.
Yeah, great pieces of advice there. I agree with all of those. So thank you again for sharing about styled shoots and wedding expos and all these initiatives and planning that goes into weddings. There's a lot more that goes into it than you think sometimes. So it's been great hearing about that. And thank you for joining us. And in next week's episode, we're going to be focusing on weddings again. And we're going to have our student assistant, Grace, with us. So we look forward to everyone joining us then. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.